my channel. So in today's video I did half of my face drugstore and half of my face high-end, and I'm so impressed on how it turned out. Like, I'm actually so glad that it turned out the way that I planned, because I was really nervous, especially when filming the eyes, because I was like, what if this just does not match and it's a complete disaster? But I'm so glad that I found really good drugstore alternatives. So this side of my face is high-end and this side of my face is drugstore, and to be completely honest, I can't see any difference in both sides of my face. I think it's because I use drugstore on a daily basis rather than high-end. Like, it's really rare that I would use a high-end foundation, because I would just rather use my Revlon Color Stay or my CoverGirl 3-in-1. So if you'd like to see how I created this look, then please keep watching. Okay, so I'm going to skip primer. I've just moisturized, but I figured, why would I put on primer if I'm just gonna wash it off and just waste it? So my favorite high-end primer would have to be the Hourglass Veil Primer. I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced. It's amazing, especially for oily skin. And for the drugstore primer, I love my Model Coat Face Base Hydrating Primer, which is silicone based, which I've used heaps in my videos already. So I just thought I would give them a mention before I start on with my foundation, because I'm not going to put them on. So okay, so this side of my face is going to be drugstore and this side of my face is going to be high-end. The foundation I'm going to use from the drugstore is my favorite CoverGirl 3-in-1, and I'm going to use that with my designer brand sponge. And on the high-end side, I'm going to use my Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation in the shade Ivory Beige with my original Beauty Blender. By the way, do you guys like my new background? I kind of just flipped my setup over, so usually I'm facing that way with like the lights there, and then yeah, I'm facing the wall, but I thought I would ditch my white backdrop because it was getting really boring. Whoa, this sponge is actually better than I thought, because usually like rip-off Beauty Blender sponges are like rock hard and you can't even like dampen them, but this one is really bouncy. Okay, so to conceal on my high-end side, I'm going to use the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in Custard, and on my drugstore side, I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in Fair. So that is my concealer on. I'm just going to highlight the bridge of my nose just with the Maybelline one, because it's just going to be way too hard doing this with two different concealers. But in my opinion, I think the Maybelline one is better. I just think it's so overpriced and, like, I wouldn't say overhyped. Maybe if I used it more I would like it. But I'm just too stuck on my Maybelline one because I just think it works amazingly. Like, I'm looking in the mirror right now and they look identical. So to set my concealer on my high-end side, I'm going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit. I'm just going to use the banana shade. And on my drugstore side, I'm going to use the Australis AC on Tour, and I'm going to use the banana shade. I did actually post a video maybe like 8 months ago now, and it has like 50k views, and it's the shittest video ever. Like, my contour is literally just like a line on my face. I don't know why I uploaded that, why I thought it was good, but oh my god, if you haven't watched it, go and watch it for a laugh. Seriously, I'll link it down I'll link it down below, but I don't know how that has 50,000 views. I'm going to start off with the drugstore side. So I'm using the Australis contour kit, and my favorite setting brush is the e.l.f. blush brush. I don't have any like high-end setting brushes, this is just the one that I use. So I'm just going to pat that underneath my eyes. Okay, so now I'm using the Anastasia contour kit on this side. Again, looking side by side, they look exactly the same, so, you know. So I only have one setting powder that I use to my face. I don't have a high-end one. I actually went through all my powders and I tried to find like an expensive powder that I haven't used, but I actually don't have one. So the only powder I use is the Australis Fresh and Flawless, and you can get this from Priceline. If you're not from Australia, I'm sure you can get them from the website, but I'm sure you can get it from like eBay or something if they don't ship internationally. So yeah, sorry if you live not in Australia, but you need to try and get your hands on this powder. Okay, so for bronzer on my high-end side, I'm going to use the Balm Desert Bronzer with my Zoeva Luxe Cheek Brush. So on my drugstore side, I'm going to use the Model Co Shimmer Bronzing Powder with my Jessup Tapered Face Brush. I'll have all the Jessup brushes linked down below. They're just from eBay and you can get them in a set for, I think like $20 for 12 of them, but I'll be using the Jessup brushes on my drugstore side. So to contour my high-end side, I'm going to use the Hoola by Benefit with the brush that came with it. And to contour my drugstore side, I'm going to use the matte bronzing powder by Model Co as well. And this fake NARS ITA brush that I got from eBay for only $4. That is actually really, really good. The only thing I don't like about it is that it sheds a little bit, but I'll leave the link down below where you can purchase this one from as well. So now I'm going to clean up the contour by baking, and I only use one powder to bake, and it is the Face of Australia Translucent Powder, and I just put a little bit in the lid, and I literally just go straight underneath my contour like that to the side of my mouth. I never used to bring my bake all the way to the side of my mouth, but you can't even see that it goes to the side of your mouth. It just gives like a subtle contour line. I can never get them symmetrical. So I don't like to keep it on for too long because then I get like a really, really like harsh line and it's really, really hard to blend out. So literally after like a minute or two, I literally wipe it off. So I'm gonna do that now. And as you can see, it's just cleaned up the contour line and just kind of made it less messy. So the blush that I'm going to use on my drugstore side is this So Susan Cashmere Rose Chiffon brush, and I'm going to use that with a Jessup like tapered angled brush. And then on my high-end side, I'm going to use the Balm In Stain blush in Swiss Dot. It's just like a tad corally compared to the other one. And I'm just going to use my Zoeva cheek finish brush. So for highlighter on my high-end side, I'm going to use the Becca Cosmetics Skin Perfector in Champagne Pop. And for the drugstore side, I'm going to use the e.l.f. blush in Gotta Glow. And I'm going to use that with my Jessup tapered highlighting brush. Ooh, that's actually really pretty. This highlighter is so amazing. I'm just going to use this one to put down on the tip of my nose and Cupid's bow. I'm going to start off with the high-end side, and the shadows I'm going to use are from Makeup Geek. Like, these prices aren't really high-end, but I kind of consider them high-end because even though they are only $7 each, you can't just go out and just purchase them from the shops. Like, it's all online, so I don't know, I would just kind of, you know, think that they are higher end because some people can't really afford like $7 per eyeshadow when you can just get a palette for under $20. I actually don't know what eye look I'm going to do. I think I might do something really dramatic and smoky and then do some nude lips because I did find a dupe for Velvet Teddy. So to start, I'm going to use Creme Brulee, which is just a really, really nice crease shade. Then I'm going to go in with Cocoa Bear, which is just a really warm brown shade. Also just using that in my crease, but just a little bit below Creme Brulee. So now for the inner corner of the eye, I'm going to go in with Shimmer Shimmer, which is just this color right here. It's so amazing. I pretty much use this on most of my clients. And I'm literally packing that onto my lid, making sure you don't go above the crease. Now I'm going to actually go in with my chocolate bar palette, and I'm going to take the darker color. I'm just going to pat that onto the outer section. And then I'm going to take Corrupt by Makeup Geek as well. I'm just going to place that on the very outer V. So now I'm just grabbing a concealer brush. This is just by Jessup as well, I'm pretty sure. And just a light concealer, and I'm just cleaning up the edges. I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Color in Jet, and I'm going to use that to line my waterline. So I'm just using a Zoeva winged liner brush for this. Okay, so now that that's looking hot, I'm going to take this sort of light brown color from the chocolate bar, and I'm just going to use that to smoke out the black. So now I'm going to create my wing. I'm going to apply the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, which is one of my favorites. So for lashes, I'm just going to use the Smolder Cosmetics ones, just because I don't really want to wear two different style lashes. I don't think I actually have ones that are exactly the same, but one's drugstore and one's high-end. So these are just the ones that I'm going to use. They're just super flirty and kind of natural sort of looking, so I'm going to pop them on. Okay, so now that that eye's done, let's try and do the exact same thing on the other side. So the eyeshadow palette that I'm going to be using is the Chi Chi Cosmetics Classics palette. This has been like my favorite drugstore palette for years, and I've used it for so long. So I'm going to start off with the crease color, which is this one. It's just kind of like a camel sort of color. It's actually really similar to Creme Brulee, so I'm going to take that on a Jessup tapered blending brush, even though it's not so tapered. So I'm going to use that into my crease. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with the darker shade, just on the same brush, and just use that to darken the outer corner, and then I'm just going to bring that into the crease a little bit. Okay, so now for the inner corner, I'm going to use this shimmery shade right here. So similar to Shimmer Shimmer by Makeup Geek. Not even funny. I don't really have another brush. I just like using this one. It's just a really dense, flat shader brush, I guess. And I'm just going to wet it with some e.l.f. Mist and Set. So if you don't want to spend money on the Fix Plus, then this one's definitely a good alternative for making the eyeshadows look a bit more pigmented. I'm just going to take the blending brush again and just blend that so it looks seamless in the crease. And then I'm going to take the darkest colour, which is like a charcoal grey. So that's probably the only difference in both the palettes. But I'm going to add this onto the outer. For my lower lash line, I'm going to use the Maybelline Eye Studio Gel Liner. This is my favourite gel liner of all time. And then I'm grabbing the dark brown colour out of the Chi Chi palette, and I'm just taking that on a Fabouche brush, which is an Australian brand, and they're pretty affordable, so I thought they would suit well under the drugstore category. Although you can only get them online, not in store. So now for liquid liner, I'm going to use my Maybelline Hyper Sharp. This is seriously my favourite liquid liner. I use this every time I do my makeup. If I'm not using the other Maybelline gel liner, it's seriously amazing. Like, watch. So now I'm going to go use the Essence I Love Extreme Mascara, which is one of my favourite mascaras of all time. So for the lipsticks, I picked out Velvet Teddy by MAC. And then I'm going to use that with my Whirl lip liner. And then for the Drugstore side, I'm going to use my Australis Boho lipstick with my Australis lip pencil in Misbehave. So this is the completed makeup look, and to be honest, I'm so impressed on how the Drugstore side just looks pretty much identical. No, it actually does look identical to the high-end side. Like, it really does show that you don't need to buy all this expensive makeup for your makeup to look good. Like, personally, I prefer Drugstore products because they're so easy to get, they're affordable, and I just absolutely love all the products that I use. I love Maybelline, L'Oreal, I love Model Co, Elf. I love all those brands and I use them on a day-to-day basis. The only high-end products that I legit could not live without is probably my Hoola by Benefit. If I didn't have this, I wouldn't be contouring as well, I guess. And it's not that expensive. It's like $50 and this has lasted me 2 years almost. So I would highly recommend this. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, don't hesitate to ask me any questions down below. I always answer all of your comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys! My favourite concealer. Like, I have the NARS one and I have the Urban Decay one, and nothing compares to this, and it's not even half the price.